Origins is about two biologists who make one of the greatest discoveries in the history of science that has repercussions that affects every single person on this planet.
I'm a scientist. I believe in proof.
Every person on this planet has their own unique pair of eyes.
You ever feel like when you met someone, they fill this hole inside of you?
Are you okay, man?
Yeah, okay.
The way you talked was like poetic.
I wanted to be a part of it so bad. It was like, whatever I have to do to be a part of this film, I want to do it. After Steve and I did All Is Lost, then we were able to do this for Mike, and so that was exciting.
We talked about the aesthetic, which is one that's kind of poetic realism, so it feels very real, but there's a touch of an artistic stroke to it, and that requires a bit of manipulation of the craft. That's removing things or isolating sounds or intensifying certain things. But at the same time, all of that sonic stuff is motivated from the POV of the character.
My name is Dr. Ian Gray. I'm a father, a husband, and I'm a scientist.
It's almost like a puzzle that's unfolding before you, and you're sort of discovering what's happening with the action that's happening, but also you're discovering what kind of movie this is as it switches from being romantic to being tragic. Sometimes it feels like it's an indie movie, and sometimes it feels operatic and huge. And what's really great with having Atmos as a toolkit is that when you get big and operatic, you have this whole spectrum of speakers that you can play with. And then as far as sound design goes, the scene that takes place in this elevator, it doesn't get much more up than that. Using the ceiling, that's the elevator's the spot.
Oh, what?
We are in the middle of two floors. Like, we stop.
What I ended up doing is I was thinking of taking certain elements that were currently in the front of the screen and just tilting the whole thing up.
The reverb of the echoes of their voice goes up the shaft, and like literally up the elevator shaft into the ceiling, and you can feel that. All of a sudden you feel like the entire theater is an elevator, and you feel it wobbling. With this film is that it starts in kind of an intimate small place, and as the film grows, as it barrels towards its climax, the intimacy remains, but the scope of the theme gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And to reflect that sonically, great mixer Steve Bodecker, we talked about, starting small on the sound and being really restrained. And as we grow, allow the sound to grow and sort of envelop the audience.
We've been really lucky here at Skywalker because we have a great relationship with Sundance. And so through that, we have directors who are in the process of creating their films are being told about sound, and they're learning about sound, and they're realizing that sound actually can be a really key player in your film and in your storytelling.
The third act of the film takes place in India, and it's really difficult to describe the intensity of the experience. And I remember we went to this market called the Okhla Market, and there's so much action and energy and vibrance and colors and sounds and everything all around you, and you really get enveloped in it just as a human going into that space. And when you capture it on film, you capture it in stereo, it just doesn't do it justice. And it wasn't until we had it playing in this room here at Skywalker that all of a sudden it triggered all these memories of being in that space. I was like, wow, finally sound is doing the justice to what the environment feels like. You feel enveloped by India.
As a sound designer and a mixer, you want to try and find out what the limits are. And I told him the first day we were mixing, I said, there are some things in here that we may have gone too far, but I want to find out where too far is so that we can kind of rein it back in. He's the guy that's willing to go too far.
The Dolby Fellowship has opened up a huge sound opportunity for us. It's afforded us more time. We have more space to mix in. And by space, I mean speakers, really, or environment. We're mixing in Atmos. The Dolby Fellowship is giving our wonderful little independent film, Origins, the treatment of kings. It's amazing. I remember when Steve first played it for me, I felt like I was watching the movie for the first time. I felt like, wow, that was incredible. Like, show me more.
I'm looking for someone. All I have is a picture of their eyes. Could you help me find her?
What would you do if something spiritual disproved your scientific beliefs?
Most people's doors are completely closed.
What's behind the door?
Love and anger and fear and joy and sadness. All at once.